My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
we both want to believe.
So we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something.
Anything.
That will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Hey, Karen.
Yes.
We got another review.
Woohoo!
Yep. And
well, maybe woohoo.
No, it is a woohoo because it's another 5-star.
Oh, woohoo!
Yeah, I know. It is a woohoo. This one is from Vivid515.
Ooh, I like that
And
name.
I'm taking the reins back of the microphone so I get to read this one now.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, this one comes to us through Apple Podcasts. It's a 5-star review, the topic of which says priceless.
Ooh.
Yep. And it goes on to say, I literally stumbled upon this podcast one morning last year and have been a fan ever since. My morning walk is typically 4 miles to a local lake or park, and I have my podcasts queued specifically to keep my pace moving. Unfortunately, I tripped on the raised concrete that morning and dropped my phone. When I picked it up to resume, the podcasts were all scrambled, and I just hit play, and this showed up.
It was meant to be.
It was kismet. They're going to say, keep up the great work, wonderful guest speakers, and fantastic hosts, sending many blessings for 2024. Vivid515, you have risen to the top of the favorite reviewers category. This is so cool because it shows how the universe just kind of aligned itself to give you exactly what you need at the perfect moment in which you need it.
That's awesome. I love that so much.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Vivid, for sending us this, for leaving us this review on Apple Podcasts. And if you'd like to hear your review read on the air, feel free to go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review there. Or go to skepticmetaphysician.com, leave us a voicemail or an email, or you can leave us a review directly on the site as well. So what do you think, Karen?
Well, I was just thinking they can still leave a review on Apple Podcasts, even if it's not 5 stars.
I know, but, how nice would it be to leave a 5-star review?
It would be nice.
If you have less than a 5-star, maybe go to skepticmetaphysician.com, leave us a review there, because we do really appreciate constructive criticism. We do want to make the show better, and we would appreciate hearing from you any thoughts that you might have.
We sure would.
So, meanwhile, I think we've dallied enough. Why don't we get started with the show?
Today's topic centers around a heart-opening, consciousness-raising, infinite intelligence that we are all already partaking in without even knowing it.
Yeah, now, although that might be a simplistic way of approaching the topic, we are already partaking in it. However, we are missing a very specific element that activates this powerful medicine. And we're talking, of course, about the power of cacao. With us here today to separate fact from myth is Cacao ceremony facilitator Brien Egan. Brien, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for being here. I'm really grateful to be here.
Yeah, well, we're thrilled to have you. Let's just, right off the bat, set the table. Cacao ceremonies are very well known in South America and all those kinds of places. Let's tackle the tough subject first, right? Here you are, a white guy who is facilitating cacao ceremonies. First, let's talk, what does cacao do? We all know about ayahuasca and psilocybin and things like that, but cacao is a very much more gentle medicine. Let's talk about that. And then how did you fall into this facilitating of this wonderful medicine?
So yeah, right off the bat, the elephant in the room. Yeah, I'm just a white guy facilitating, practicing. I'm holding the sacred space because there's not someone here holding that space. Mm-hmm. And I recognize that. And I also recognize that this medicine is way beyond the shell that we give it with chocolate. Mm-hmm. And that the more that we can embody that sacredness of it and the real depth of its ability to open us into a higher heart consciousness, which is what ascension and evolution is. It's moving from beyond the physical, the 3 lower dimensions of the physical, up into the redemption part of the heart, where we can be open and connect honestly and openly and with love in every opportunity, in every situation in our life. And the more that I've worked with this medicine and learned from it, the more I've been able to allow my own heart space to open further and further. And our heart gives a vibration of coherence. So it is our, are you guys familiar with the HeartMath Institute?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's commonplace now. 20 years ago, when I was learning about it, it was like, what is this? This is pretty awesome, you know. And like, why is this a thing? Why are we studying how the heartbeat goes? How does this show us, you know, show us the future, show us the past? You know, tap into those core vibrations of what we are.
And for those that may not be familiar with heart math, we're talking, of course, about the fact that a heart has its own intelligence, and there's an institute here that is actually looking into researching that intelligence and all the different aspects of how the heart affects us in everyday life, way beyond just pumping blood through our systems.
Yep.
And on the other side of the heart, I want to say that I do appreciate, you know, you're coming in, we talked about you're this white guy, and there's a difference between appropriating and honoring.
Right.
And just hearing, you know, the little conversation we had before this, hearing how you talk about it and how you present it, it is just filled with so much love. And I just want to make sure that everyone really understands that this is about honoring this sacred medicine.
Right. It's not about me. It's not about what my skin looks like. It's not about the you know the past of our futures or where our future is going. It's about that. It's about where we are right now. You know, it's not about and the heart and the theobromines that are activated in the cacao and all these things. They move us. They open us. They bring us into that space. You know, this fell into my lap. I didn't ask for this medicine to be a part of my life. It showed up, and and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's where we're moving, you know? Like, I started the story with you guys a little bit earlier, and I'll tell you again, so like, I'll tell you the end of it, which was really just like, oh, well, okay, you know, and as all these things go, and as your spiritual journey progresses, it becomes to a point where it does teach you, like the journey teaches you, the extra influences, the other guides show up and teach you, and they show you where you're going. You know, and this really just showed up. Somebody contacted me because I've been leading the meditations for years, and she had come to them, and her brother was coming into town, and he had been leading cacao ceremonies with his partner who lived on a giant 40-acre cacao farm in Guatemala, and she organized massive cacao ceremonial like multi-tribe gatherings to like bring and honor cacao. You know, it was their lifeblood, you know, and so he brought that medicine here, and he shared it with me and taught me and explained to me the ritual part, and I saw how that fits with what we're doing, with what these sound meditations are, and what all the work of showing up for people in a spiritual way and holding space is. And that's what this shamanic spiritual journey is, and that with the cacao. And so he didn't even get to lead the first one with me, and I was like, what? He's like, no, you can do this. And I'm like, what are you talking? No. He's like, you can do it, because he had to go out of town. And I'm like, that's okay. I actually got to lead with him after that, and he was like, it was really awesome. But
Brien,
it was
meet wolves.
yeah, it's like, here you go, run out and you can do it. And I'm like, all right. And so that's been, you know, a stumbling journey, and I'm glad that our whole spiritual community, including the ARA and everybody here, has shown up and held space for me while I was learning.
That's just so wonderful. And before we get too deep into that, I want to kind of clarify, because at the beginning we said everyone's partaking in this because everybody eats chocolate and everybody loves chocolate. Cacao is different. First, can you just tell us how, like, what's the difference? So someone can't just, you know, buy a candy bar and think, all right, I'm doing this, you know, why am I not healed?
Is that what I'm doing wrong?
I think that's what you're doing wrong.
Dang, 'cause I've been eating a lot of chocolate.
So what is sacred cacao? And how does that differ from chocolate?
Well, the chemical composition isn't too much different other than all the additives and things, but as a whole, cacao is the raw form of what chocolate becomes, you know, and the process is really interesting. I got to go to a cacao farm in Costa Rica and really like check it out and see the whole process of how they cook the beans down, and they let it ferment first in the bag, like they're like football-sized pods, you know, and they take out, and each one has the little things in it, and each one has the seed inside. It's really awesome, and it has a sweet flavor, the white goo that's on the inside and another part of it. it's going back to the question.
So
Is it being sacred?
Yeah, what makes, like, is it a certain type of cacao that's used for these ceremonies?
Well, yeah, ceremonial-grade cacao is just processed in the rawest form it can be, and it's blessed, and songs are sung to it, and to help infuse it with the intention and the medicine of what it's supposed to be creating.
And I think that's key, right? You can't just go to Costa Rica or Ecuador or wherever and get a cacao and create your own. I mean, I guess you could create your own ceremony, but it's not. It's the intention that you put
right.
behind
Well,
it.
And that's not to nullify those things, because people do that all the time.
Sure.
Like you can buy little packets of,
Ceremonial
like
cacao.
ceremonial cacao, like just like individual things. You can like, I don't think there's K-cups of them, but there's, but really, like it's becoming very commonplace and accepted as a sacred rite. A lot of women are using it for womb healing and for holding that sacred, energetic, like it's like getting an energetic hug. That's why chocolate's so like soothing.
Yeah.
Chocolate is soothing.
It
We
is.
go to it for that feeling that it creates.
Right.
It opens up your heart space so that you can honestly connect, because you're more in your heart space, and your heart space is the space where you're in a point of redemption. And redemption is about acceptance and accepting all people and all cultures and all things.
Right. And we should definitely talk about the fact that though this is a medicine, right, a typical ceremony with medicine, like ayahuasca, psilocybin, it's a much more gentle medicine. It's not something that's going to take you on a trip, for example. People are
Right.
like,
Yeah. You'll just feel like more hyper and more uplifted and more excited about things.
and more connected to others
Right.
and things like that, right?
And so that's what's so much fun about the cacao, is that you really can, like, you just feel so like blissed out when you leave. And it's not just the cacao though. It's the infusion of the vibration of the medicine, and that's where the ichiro, which is what I'm going to share with you guys in a little bit, comes in, And so the ichiros are the medicine songs, and many different tribal traditions have their own medicine songs that they work with. The ones that I use are from the Peruvian tradition and the Shipibo, and they are the ichiro, which are the medicine songs that are used in their work with ayahuasca and with just general healing. It's not always about using the medicine itself. It's about, because it was never about the medicine. It's about the vibration and understanding it. And as the shaman becomes comfortable with that, they never needed when they do the ceremonies in their tribes, they don't, the tribes people don't take the medicine because they don't need to.
Right.
Right. And as the shaman, if the shaman does, they're going into that state to be the transmission and to be the bridge between the energy and the healing.
Right.
So if someone wanted to attend one of these ceremonies, what would they expect? Like, how does the ceremony go?
For cacao, well, we'd get set up and set intentions first. I've done them a number of different ways, but the core at the beginning is a clearing of the space with, usually with sage or Palo Santo or some form of a copal, like a energy clearing. And what I've added into it over the years is, when I do my clearings for people, I'll blow energy through them, and I'll also tone energy through them with this sound and this vibration, just to help them clear their whole field. So like the one we're going to be doing today, the ichiro that I'm going to be singing is called Cleansing the Spirit. So we're going to be clearing out our energetic spiritual field around us so that we are just in our own selves, in our own vibration, our own heart coherence.
Right. And so now you're touching on that element, that missing element that we talked about at the very beginning of the show, that
The sacredness of it.
even though we're all partaking in it, there's that missing element, and that is the intention, but also the vibrational, the sacredness of the medicine, the holding space of it all. It's all of that together is what makes this such powerful medicine. It's not just pop a piece of chocolate in your mouth and
but think about that. Every time you eat a piece of chocolate, go into it with intention. Like, think about it. Say, thank you for this. I mean, gratitude. Gratitude activates the highest vibrational frequency that we are.
You don't know how happy you're making him right now. You just gave him a reason to go out and buy a case of Hershey's.
Yep.
As long as I'm using gratitude.
You know what? I don't have a problem clearing all of our scales from the house. I'll be fine. Okay, so yes, the impurities. I hate to use the word impurities, but does sugar and the additives and things like that in a Hershey's bar, for example, probably not the best when it comes to.
Of course, right. And unfortunately, we are in this environment, so we have to transmute the energy in it as well. And so, it's like we're not all becoming breatharians and we're going to live in the mountains and we can't be around any energies that are difficult. We have to be in these energies and we have to be in this dimension, right? And we have to be in America, right? And we have to be, and these are the confines of what we're sitting in. So in that we take on those roles and we have to transmute that energy at the same time, even if it's difficult.
Right. Well, it's interesting that we talk about the vibration of sound as being part of this healing frequencies and things like that. Edgar Cayce, in his readings, once said that the medicine of the future would be sound.
Sound and vibration and music.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so, Wayne Perry, one of the godfathers of sound healing, I've had him on a couple of my conferences. He's amazing. Him and I are doing a class in a couple of months. It'll be like online and stuff. He's in California and he does this. He wrote the book Sound Medicine.
Oh yeah.
And it really respects and tries to honor the fact that the human voice is the perfect healing tool. And that's Wayne's quote. It's the human voice. If you clear it completely, it will heal everything in your life, in your experience. The vocal analysis thing he does, is it takes apart your voice and really looks at and looks through a spectral analysis of the way it sits and how that sits in how they tie it to the different correspondences with your how mind-body connection kind of a thing. But sound-body connection.
Right.
It's a different angle to it. Sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine. But so basically, you're not saying that I can go around and go, I'm healed, and then suddenly I'm healed, right? There's more to it than that, or is it that?
Well,
You just blew out
there's a lot more.
Sorry,
that
Kevin.
was beautiful, but there's way more than that.
I had a feeling.
But singing brings joy to every space. It does. It does. There's not a way that it doesn't. And I've learned that with because the things that I do with my vocal work, I've been doing for 22 years, and it's been teaching me these last few years, really, splitting my voice in different ways, overtoning and undertoning at the same time, and watching the sounds blend, and it's really neat. And as I learned to sing the Icaro and work with the sound medicine, even deeper, because I teach this, I have the Sound Healing Conservatory is the school that I have, and I've been teaching it this is our 5th year. And that's why I said Wayne's come in. I've done conferences online and all kinds of things. I've been working with the area for almost, been working with the area for 22 years.
Wow.
I've been, part of the area for almost 30 years, since I was a kid. I've been it's been my and we just ended up here. Everything gets placed where it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So I love that. Thank you.
So once you really got involved, full on in the sound healing, how did you notice its effect on you? Did you notice yourself changing, feeling healthier, more energy?
It's super healed everything in my life.
Yeah?
In a lot of ways. I could have a book of stories, I'm sure, but the one most significant thing would be my son. He's 5 years old now, but I had to learn how to sing under my breath, to sing in the NICU, because he was in the NICU for the first 5 months of his life.
Oh, wow.
So when he was in there, I couldn't just be singing and trying to bring bowls, and we a couple of times we snuck bowls into the NICU, but they let us because they know that it's that it's that
Oh,
is
here they come again.
Yeah, they actually invited us to come back in to do some sound for the families and stuff.
That's
in the
amazing.
waiting room
Wow.
and stuff.
Here in Virginia?
At CHKD in Norfolk.
How wonderful.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, we pretty much moved in, so yeah. But you could hear it. I'd be toning for him, and I'd hear the other babies in the room calm down too. Because they know and they could feel it. It's not because sound creates space. There's space and time, right?
Yeah.
So light acknowledges time.
Right.
Sound acknowledges space.
Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
And now back to the skeptic metaphysicians.
So we're going to hear you perform some of those healing sounds, and we'll experience those healing frequencies firsthand in just a few minutes. But tying it back to cacao and the sacred ceremonies and things like that, it is important to really stress the relationship between sound and the ceremony.
So how it activates, right?
Yes.
So I was just talking about time and space, right? Which are acknowledged by the present moment,
Right.
By the here and the now, right? In our heart space, which is our presence, right? So when we activate all those things at the same time, right? With the sound, with our breath, with our intentions, with the medicine, which comes in and activates in our body and gets our cells even more activated and excited, it like just pushes us into this divine, open, clear state where we can look at ourselves through this technology, almost like looking back into ourselves and say, hey, wait, I can be more loving and compassionate in this moment. You know, chocolate will soften your heart. You know, cacao does soften your heart. You know, it is, that's what we're doing, you know.
So do you recommend piping chocolate into the water source? Because it feels like we kind of need that across the whole world, right?
Yeah.
See, I was
Main line
focusing
of
on the sound.
chocolate IVs will set up at places.
Yeah.
What is it? The God tone, or what was that called? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like
I
with
do.
chanting or something. There's like, is it called the God?
Well,
So the sound. So this is. Oh, thank you for saying that. In my ceremonies, another one of the, because we hadn't finished telling about the ceremony, right?
Yeah.
So I just talked about the clearing, right?
Yes,
So after the
yes.
clearing, we go in, and when I make the cacao, I'll usually do it with everybody toning. So they'll all be toning the sound of ah, which is the sound of God. So why I say that is it's from Wayne Dyer. If you're familiar with Wayne Dyer, from his book, The Secrets of Manifesting Your Destiny. I listened to that set of tapes 1,000 times. And the ah sound that you do, and if you look up online, probably on YouTube somewhere, Wayne Dyer Manifesting Meditation. It's like 20 minutes long, and there's a morning one and an evening one. The morning they do ah, because ah is the sound for God in all cultures. That vowel sound is found in all cultures' words for God. He had like 40 names of God that he showed, and every one of them was ah.
Wow.
as
the God
main
frequency.
vowel.
God frequency.
Allah, Brahma,
Right.
all those different,
Right.
Wow.
all the ahs. So toning that ah opens the heart space because it's the sound we make without putting any inflection on our voice whatsoever.
Right.
Like just ah, you're not doing anything to your voice. Right. So it's that open source sound that we come from.
That's interesting. And like baby's first words usually mama or dad has that ah sound in it too.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible.
Wow. Look at me.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, thanks. That was great.
So if somebody wanted to experience a cacao ceremony, what's the best way for someone to dip their toe in this kind of thing? Because they're not going to go to Guatemala or Peru or Ecuador, although they're welcome to do so, right?
Yeah, well, there are. I mean, I do them locally occasionally. I kind of do them more seasonally now. This is my I think my 6th year doing them, and it's evolved, and I've done them at festivals. I've done them at all different places, locally and everywhere, and with yoga swings and without yoga swings, and all the different ways you can do cacao.
Cool.
So
then do they just reach out to you? What's the best way for them to, how do they learn about these?
My things are on Facebook, on my Sound Healing Conservatory pages, where we have the main listings of all the sound and cacao events that we have, and the trainings and the classes. The soundhealingconservatory.org is the website for my sound healing classes, things. Also the Ascension World Ego Campus is my Facebook page, where we also have cacao events and some of the events up there and local events. It's a spiritual organization that I started to help everybody ascend.
Fantastic.
So I know a lot of people, especially with COVID, people are being more careful. They're doing things remotely. A lot of the people that we interview do remote healings. Is this something that someone could, if you had a class online or a ceremony, could they follow along? Like, could they get some sacred cacao and do this in their home, follow along with you?
That would be kind of neat. Yeah, that's something that could be doable. Like, where you'd have them get the materials, or you'd send them the materials to make their own with you, and you can kind of teach them. I've taught it a few times as like a Cacao ritual training, so like teaching people how to be facilitators themselves.
Oh.
And like the core aspect of what I teach is ritual, and understanding that everything we do is ritual, all the time. Every method, everything that we do, we make a practice for it, and we embed that practice in us, and it shows up in everything we do. You know, and so like to be more cognizant and more aware of that. You know,
And
it's like fine tuning.
And then the demonstration that you're going to give, so people that are listening to our podcast, will they get some healing benefit from what you're going to do
definitely. Yes,
today?
I actually, all the things where I show up, I have an Insight Timer page where I stream meditations weekly on Sunday mornings from 8 to 9 a.m. And but they have, it's the #1 free meditation app in the world.
Insight Timer is.
Insight Timer,
Nice.
yeah. And you can subscribe to it, but you can also just be in there for free. And I have 6 tracks on there right now. I'm about to put 2 more on sound, and one of them is an ichiro. There's a couple of different like angel meditations, and there's 4 professionally recorded tracks of the bowls of me playing. Yeah, really good stuff.
Very cool. Well, we are looking forward to hearing and feeling the healing frequencies that you're about to perform for us. Before we do that, I want to say thank you so much for coming and taking the time to explain and explore sacred cacao and sound frequencies with us. And we encourage everyone to reach out to Brien and participate, because the more we can open our hearts in this world to each other, the better this world's going to be.
So true and so important.
Yeah, so we're going to leave you now with the sounds of beautiful sound frequencies, healing frequencies from Brien. That's going to do it for this episode. So we want to thank you for tuning in this time around. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. With that, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Calling yourself into a quiet, relaxed state. Taking a deep, full breath in. Connecting into your heart space, into your lungs, into your diaphragm. Breathing in deeper. Holding it. Being present with your heart. Thinking about something and someone you truly love. And slowly breathing out into that space. And just letting yourself relax into this moment. Relaxing into where you are and how you are, and accepting it just as it is. And take another deep, full breath in, deep into your belly, deep into your lungs, breathing in deeper, holding it. Holding in your heart now something you're truly grateful for, something you want to allow more of into your life, and slowly breathe out into that space. And just let yourself relax, feeling calm, easy, at peace, allowing your spirit to clear of any disruptions, of any distractions. Any extra attachments are falling away now in the sound. 양언낭인 문냉이 요라야미 문냉이 요야미 문냉이 요랑구이 아얀기 진난구이 아얀기 Finding yourself out in the silence now. Allowing this stillness into your life, into your experience, with every breath and every step on your path to wholeness and oneness. You allow your resonance, your love, vibration to echo through. As you allow this, it becomes, and so it is. Slowly coming back towards your fingers and toes, your hands and feet, coming back, your arms and legs, finding yourself in your torso and behind your eyes as that still small, eternal voice. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, feeling wide awake and wonderful. Thank you so much.
And a huge thank you to you. We'd love for you to contribute by sending us a voicemail or an email from our website, or leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or any other podcasting platform that supports them. Karen and I love hearing from those that are moved to message us. It truly does fuel our passion. You are the reason we do this show, and knowing what you like and don't like help us craft the very best show we can so that we can help raise the vibration of the planet together. Well, that's all for now, but we'll see you on the next episode of The Skeptic Metaphysician. Until then, take care.